Hello everybody, and welcome back to OMB Reviews. I am the critic who is a cynic, hope doing well, and today we're going to be talking about a little bit of Thor, Love and Thunder news. But before we dive into this news coming from geeksandgamers.com, I want you to please like this video, share it with anyone that you think might find this news interesting, and of course, please subscribe if you have not done so already. Also, please know that I do have a Rumble channel for those that are tired of YouTube. I upload these videos simultaneously to Rumble, though it does take much longer for Rumble to process the video completely, and I have not quite understood yet how to monetize over there, so just smash the Rumble button if indeed that is what you're supposed to do. Alright, as you can see from what's on my screen, this is indeed geeksandgamers.com. For those that don't know, a little bit of disclosure, I indeed am a member of the Geeks and Gamers team. I've not been able to join many of the live streams for gaming recently because obviously baby Thor takes precedence, and of course also I have not been able to make that many videos for the channel either, much for the same reason, and also because typically I cover box office news over there, and there really isn't anything going on over the box office. But we do have a bit of news coming from geeksandgamers.com, and that is an article here written by Alex Gerzo, which says Lady Sif will indeed return in Thor, Love and Thunder. Now, I'll just get a couple things out of the way first. As you all know, my nickname is Odin. It's been Odin since I was in high school. Some have used it, some have not used it. And obviously, when I started my channel, I decided to call it Odin's Movie Vlog just to keep up with, indeed, the nickname. So I have actually been a huge fan of the Thor films ever since the first one came out. It's pretty insane to think that it's been so many years since that first film indeed came out. Just going back, to 2013, I think, is when that first movie came out. And wow, that's just great. Actually, maybe even before then the first film came out. But anyway, I'm sure this article hopefully will cover that very point. However, I've been a huge fan of the franchise. I love the first film very much so. Even Thor to Dark World, which I will admit is probably one of the worst Marvel films that has ever been made, I still enjoyed it, and my bias absolutely is the reason why. I love the Thor mythology. I love the comic book character as far as how it's been adapted into the live action. I've loved Chris Hemsworth's portrayal of it, and another major reason, actually, is also because of the character of Lady Sif, and I was so upset to see Lady Sif kind of just disappear and fall away. Now, obviously, I think it's because of some complications with contracts and behind-the-scenes stuff, because Jamie Alexander also had a huge role on a television show that she did for many, many years, and that is probably the reason why she turned it down, because she was getting some pretty good TV money, and her schedule just did not allow her to continue to do any of the other films that took place in the MCU, but I was really looking forward to seeing her again on the big screen in this character, because if you want a strong female character, here it is. Instead, what we got was Natalie Portman shoved down our throats, and obviously for Thor, Love and Thunder, what's been pushed for us, at least from Taika Waititi and others when they first announced the movie, was, guess what, everybody? We're going to get female Thor, which no one wanted. If you want to have a strong female in the Thor universe, guess who you have? You already established one years ago in Lady Sif. But we can't talk about these things, right? It's so ridiculous. But anyway, Lady Sif apparently is returning, and even though I have very little interest in Thor: Love and Thunder, I do like Taika Waititi films typically. I thought Jojo Rabbit was a little bit overrated. Again, it wasn't a terrible film. It wasn't incompetently done, but it was definitely not nearly as good as people like to say that it was. I also think, but behind the scenes, Taika Waititi is a complete ass. That's been made very clear when he's like, "I'm going to destroy your mythos tonight, baby." Like, just really not really good look to troll fans, people that care about these franchises, people that care about these characters, and you just crap all over them. It's like, not really a good look, man. So what Rian Johnson did for many years, and wait a minute, Rian Johnson's trilogy is no longer a thing. So be very careful with how you treat your fans and how you treat the fans, because guess what? If they don't like your film and they think your film destroys canon, looking at you, The Last Jedi, guess what? It could have some long-term implications. Just going to put it out there, bud. Just going to put it out there. Again, Rian Johnson had a trilogy. Now he doesn't. All right, let's go ahead and dive into this news, though. It says, Lady Sif seems to have survived Thanos' Asgardian massacre. According to Deadline, Jamie Alexander will reprise her role as the warrior woman in Thor, Love and Thunder. Last seen on the big screen in Thor the Dark World, and on the small screen embarrassing herself on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's right, I totally forgot that she was on that show. Lady Sif is one of Thor's closest friends and has had to sit out the God of Thunder's last few movie appearances, while Alexander starred in the TV series Blindspot. As I said, she was in a major TV show, where she played a secret agent with amnesia and a body full of tattoos, cluing her in to the enemy secrets she discovered while undercover. It actually kind of looked like an interesting show, but because I'd already been consuming so many other things, I just was never actually able to fall into it. So let me know in the comments if you've seen Blindspot and if it was any good. I do really like her as an actress. I think she's incredibly talented, which is why I was so sad to see her not come back in the other appearances to come alongside Thor. Right? I really honestly think that she would be a much better person to take up that strong female character, more so than a Tessa Thompson or Natalie Portman, both of whom are just detestable human beings outside of their screen appearances. Among other things, of course. Deadline's source also says that Sif could appear on the Disney Plus series Loki. While she would be a natural fit for the show given her history with the title character, her tenure on Loki could help bridge the series with the next Thor movie. Alexander will be joining Chris Pratt, also recently confirmed to be playing Star-Lord alongside his fellow Guardians of the Galaxy in Thor: Love and Thunder, which is set to release on May 6, 2022. So as I said, right, I just really don't have that much excitement just because of the way Taika Waititi has kind of carried himself over the last several months, most especially over the last several months. It's really sad just to see Hollywood just continue to fall into this black hole of just trolling fans, of not treating fans respectfully. It's like, dude, we're the ones that go and pay these tickets. We're the ones that go and support these franchises. Without the fans, if you're just going to mock the fans, guess what? You're not going to have any fans left. You're not going to have anyone to come back to your films. Like, even I, who love movies in general and have been a big fan of these comic book movies so far, up until really Endgame is the one that I really just honestly could not stand. Obviously, you can talk about Captain Marvel even before then, but all of that was because of this push for identity politics, all for this push of political propaganda nonsense, and it's led to really bad storytelling on top of all of those things, right? Because when you focus so much so on trying to push a message, you start to lose the story that you could have been telling in the process, right? Avengers Infinity War was a fantastic film, fantastic writing, everything was so well done, and then you get to Endgame, and it's just full of all of this stuff that's meant to try and get reactions from fans, and it's meant to be fan service, but then all of that it does is really leads to just terrible storytelling. Not to mention, you have that one scene on the battlefield where all the women somehow find themselves together on the battlefield. It makes no damn sense whatsoever, but it was all because they wanted to push the whammon. But anyway, May 6, 2022 is when this film is set to come out. This is his Alex's commentary here. He says, I keep saying it, but they're determined to make me want to see this movie despite the Lady Thor nonsense. Yeah, see, for me, that's enough for me to not want to see this film, on top of course, the Taika Waititi nonsense. He goes on, I like Lady Sif very much in the other Thor films. Her fun-loving fighter contrasted nicely with Natalie Portman's more cerebral Jane Foster. In the first one, anyway, the Dark World pushed Jane too far into the tough girl territory, ruining the dynamic and making Jane inauthentic and less likable. I agree. I don't think that the performance from Natalie Portman in those films helped that either. There was also a hinted romantic rivalry between Sif and Jane for Thor's affections, and while it was unceremoniously dropped in the Dark World, perhaps the payoff will come in Love and Thunder. And to be perfectly honest, I would much rather see, let me just be honest here, Sif and Thor, Alexander and Hemsworth make a much more compelling couple than Natalie Portman. I'm just going to put that out there, especially if Natalie Portman's going to be, oh, I'm the mighty Thor. I'm not female Thor. You can't say that. That's offensive. No, you're female Thor, and nobody wants it. Okay, maybe the people over at the Mary Sue want it, but no one else really, with a brain and with any sense of understanding of the universe, cares much about it. Goes on. While it was the bummer that she couldn't make it into Thor Ragnarok or either of the last Avengers movies, it may have been for the best as Taika Waititi dispatched Thor's supporting cast with such reckless abandon that she may have been wasted as cannon fodder for Hela. That's a very good point. Besides the potential romance with Thor, I'd like to see the movie explore whether she's a bit miffed that he left Asgard in Valkyrie's hands instead of hers. There's a lot of room for her to react to the events she's missed. It would be nice if one damn person mourned the Warriors 3 or even acknowledge their existence, as well as to go into action with Thor again. That's an excellent point. Seriously, you had all of these characters that were set up so very well in the first two Thor films that were just completely done away with. And I'm someone that actually defends Thor Ragnarok. I think that it's a lot of fun. However, when you do break it down and think about the characters and think about the story and the consistency, it does seem to fall apart. And I know there's a lot of people that are more critical of it because it doesn't feel like Thor as far as the comic book character. I don't have that frame of reference because I am not a comics person. I don't have that sense of history. But what I can say is that I did thoroughly enjoy the variation. I did enjoy the comedic aspects to the film. It made it entertaining. However, I will say that it obviously does leave some actual legitimate issues, especially when it comes to story, and that, of course, I think is a great part of it, right? About how you had the the Warriors 3 just completely done away with, and it's really sad. And obviously, I think that it's actually a good point. It would be cool to see Lady Sif come in and say, no, screw Valkyrie, she's terrible, and kick her ass. I'm just gonna put it out there. If Lady Sif kicked her ass and ended up being the one in charge of Asgard, I'd actually be okay with that. That would actually be fun for me. Not just because of the way the actress has acted, talking about Tessa Thompson here, has acted off screen, but also because it just, like, I don't know, I just don't find I used to really like the character of Tessa Thompson's Valkyrie, but it really has become to the point where it's like, really? I don't see, like, again, damn Endgame, ruining so many different things. All right. Going on here, it says, as for her absence, maybe Loki will end up explaining that. Could she have been locked away in the same place that Loki ends up? It's a fair point. Or will he simply run into her while she's doing whatever she's been doing? Whatever they decide to do with Lady Sif, I'm glad she's back. Yeah, I am too. As I said, I think that she was one of the best parts of the first couple of films, even though the second film was absolutely not nearly as good as the first one, not even close. She was still a very great presence in the film. And I remember seeing the film at the time saying, man, I wish Lady Sif had more screen time in these movies. Again, it's like, if you want to really push strong female characters, then push good, well-written, strong female characters, of which Lady Sif is a very good one. Again, they kind of get it out of the way very early on in that first Thor film, where they say, oh, he's going through all of his different, all the different warriors, he's going through all the different characters that fight alongside him, and he's like, oh, yeah, people thought it was crazy when I had a woman. It's like, but that didn't matter to me. And it's like, thank you. That's all you need to do is just barely address it, make it into a joke, and then move on. Whereas with everything else we've been getting, it's been like, hey, don't forget she's a woman. It's like, no. There's a subtle way of doing it, and they were able to figure that out pretty well and pretty efficiently in the first film. And then he ends off with, are you excited to see Lady Sif again? I personally am. How do you think she'll figure into the stories of Loki and Thor Love and Thunder? Will Asgard be reborn through her gorgeous mega-wit smile? Let us know in the comments, and stay tuned to Geeks and Gamers for more movie news. So thank you very much for that. I'm going to drop a like on that one. Please be sure to join geeksandgamers.com if you've not done so already. It's a lot of fun. There's forums over there for premium members, and yeah, it's a blast. It is just so much fun to have that conversations over. Actually, you just have to create a profile and you can engage in the forums, but there is, of course, a premium section over there. We get tons of premium content, extra live streams, all that fun stuff, and it's a good time. But anyway, what are your thoughts about this? Do you think that Lady Sif returning is enough to bring you back? It's, again, for me, not really. I definitely am someone that would be rather wait to see what actually happens in the movie, like what the early reviews are, because obviously if certain reviewers love it and talk about the framing of the characters and, oh, it's a great story of wham, and it's like, okay, well, then I'm not going to have any interest in seeing it. If those same people hate the film and say, no, it's not diverse enough, guess what? I might actually be drawn to watch it. And if I hear great things about Lady Sif, that actually might be enough, because, again, I like Jamie Alexander's portrayal of this character enough for that to be a motivating factor to bring me back to at least watch this film, to at least be able to give it a review. I do still plan in some, again, my mind's like kind of fractured on this. I do kind of still want to watch it so that I can review it for the channel, but at the same time, I don't have the same drive that I used to have for a lot of Marvel films. This is definitely a step in the right direction, but unless I'm hearing, hey, Lady Sif's going to be taking the place and kind of filling in the roles that we were originally going to try and push within what was being played by Natalie Portman as, the mighty Thor, female Thor, etc. And also, of course, with Tessa Thompson's Valkyrie, if she's being said, oh yeah, she's actually kind of taking on more of the central character, or is more of an important character than those two, that might be enough. I don't think that's unfortunately going to be the case. Hopefully, though, her time on Blind Spot has indeed raised her capital a little bit behind the scenes to be able to make her much more of a presence and not just be a random, you show up for a few seconds and then you have to leave, because she's a really talented actress and a great character to boot. So anyway, let me know your thoughts about this and anything I mentioned in the comment section below. If you like this video, smash that like button, hit that subscribe. It helps it a lot. Hit that rumble if you're over on the rumble, because it's amazing. Anyway, check out the links in the description to find out other ways that you can support the channel and follow me on social media. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and as always, God bless. And now for a huge shout out to all of my December Patreon and Subscribe Star members, starting off with Patreon, Albertus Magnus, Andrew Hoyle, Animation Commentator, Brian P., Dion, Divex, Enrique Evangelista, Father Christopher Miller, Hail to you, Father, Father Damian Cook, Garrett Searles, Harold Francis, The Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey, Inflamed Wood, It's a Trap Productions, Jason Clark, Jacob Juice, Jay, Jeffrey Toon, Jonathan Carney, Kenneth Camille, Laura Story, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mike Jackson, Mr. Peabody and his evil twin with the beautiful hair, On to June, Orange Hat Reviews, Out of Step with Reality, Outpost Dyer, Riff Magos, Rosetta Allen, Steve Glasker, Miss Martin Muses, also known as Teresa Martin, Theodore Bendon, Tina Bogend, Tina B, and the Modern Major General, Laura Story. Gotta give you that shout out for that one time that you were doubled up. Thank you very much for being my Patreon members. And now a huge shout out to all of my December Subscribe Star members we have over there with Stand For, Perpetual Punster, Robert Revo, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, Darkstar57, J. Alex McCarthy Jr., US 888209 Fast, Dean Heiss, J-Rod the Beer Guru, Navadan G. Adams, and ZK Man. Thank you all so much for being my Patreon and Subscribestar members. If you want your name shouted out at the end of every video and live stream on the main channel, please consider joining over on those platforms. You can also get access to things like exclusive giveaways of 4Ks, Blu-rays. If you want a DVD, I guess you could also get a DVD as well, digital codes, and of course, you get to possibly join me on the channel once a month for the Chosen of Valhalla live stream and access to an exclusive podcast featuring John the Flick Pick Flickinger, where we have a lot of fun talking about movies and tons of other random things. Anyway, if you want to support these things, check out the links in the description of this video. And also, please consider joining my other channel, the OMB Report, where I talk about not just movies like I do over here, but I focus more so on politics, news, and culture in that order. You guys are all amazing. Thank you for your love and support. Have a wonderful day. And as always, God bless.